woods hole. I tried to hurry, smiling to myself because my boyfriend was meeting me at home. Tonight, though, the trail between the lighthouse and my tiny house behind the bike shop was almost unnavigable. It wasn't long past sunset, but the fog was a wall of mist around me. I could barely see where I was going, and I felt my already curly hair gain a new layer of frizz. I hoped all this damp didn't seep through my roof. I'd called out Jake Lacey, a down-on-his-luck handyman, about his shoddy repair job earlier. I volunteered serving dinner on Tuesdays in the late afternoon at our neighbor's table, a food pantry and soup kitchen, where Jake was a regular customer. "Got my check?" he'd asked today as he handed me his plate. "I'm sorry, Jake, but you did a terrible job on my roof." It was true. I'd hired him to replace some of the shingles on my micro house after they'd blown off in a storm. He'd left gaps, some of the replacement shingles were poorly nailed on, and he hadn't even cleaned up the scraps and debris when he left. I gave him my sternest look. "I'll pay you after you've fixed the shingles and not before." The woman behind him in line had raised her eyebrows at my criticism, but didn't say anything. Norland Gifford, the volunteer on my right, who was our newly retired Westham police chief, cleared his throat. I guess I should have saved my comment for a more private setting. Except Jake hadn't gotten his back up like he had in the past when anyone criticized him. Instead, he lifted his pointed chin and waggled his head, wearing a smug expression on his worn face. "I ain't gonna even need your money soon, Mac. You wait and see." I peered at him for a second, having no idea what he meant. "Did you get full-time work?" He was known around town for not being able to hold down a job, which was the reason he was here getting free food, of course. "Nah, this is better than no stinking job. It's good, wicked good." He grabbed the plate of pasta and sauce I'd dished up and moved down to the salad section. "That's great," I'd called after him. There went my chance at a decent repair job from Jake. I guess I'd have to find somebody else since I wasn't going to do it myself. I could tune up a bicycle like nobody's business. But when it came to hammers and nails, I was all thumbs. And usually both of them got a good self-delivered whack within minutes of attempting anything in the field of carpentry. Now I found the turn from the bike trail to the pathway that cut up to Main Street. Near the end of the path, a hedge of scrubby coastal rosa rugosa separated the walkway from my postage stamp of a yard. The fragrant scent from the just-blooming native shrub mixed with the salt air and reminded me of my childhood here on the Cape. I slowed as I rounded a bend. I was scanning through the mist for the opening that would let me through the wall of roses when I tripped. The obstacle in my path, oddly both soft and solid, was a sizable one. I yelled, arms windmilling like in a vintage cartoon. The air gave me nothing to grab hold of, and I landed on my hands and elbows. I glanced down and back to see my knees resting on Jake. "Ah!" I shrieked and scrambled forward off of him. I crouched in place, my heart beating like the timpani in the Cape Symphony. Jake lay on his front with his head half turned toward me, lips pulled back in a grimace, eyes unblinking. "Jake?" I called. "Jake, are you all right?" He didn't respond. I inched closer and couldn't detect any signs of breathing. I touched his temple, but I didn't feel a pulse under his too cool skin. His skinny legs were splayed at an odd angle, and his back was still. Too still. No breaths moved it up and down. He was never going to enjoy another free spaghetti dinner, or anything else. Jake Lacey was dead. Chapter 2. I pushed up to standing and pulled my phone out of the small bag I always wore when I went outside. My skin turned numb as I jabbed at 911, my shaking finger slipping a couple of times until the call connected.